What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Corvette Weekly. We are here with David from DBM Racing, Brandon from Brandon's Garage, and as you guys can see there on the screen, DBM Racing just now decided to join the Loyal HPO fan, the memberships of the channel here. So let's all congratulate David for being the last person to do it.
Last person.
Last but not least.
No, good. Brandon did it like a month ago. David's like, I'll wait until it's fashionably late, you know?
Yeah, no, I was telling Justin before we got started, like I had a fraud alert on my credit card, so they had to send me new ones, and I've been traveling straight through. I hadn't had to try to get them to do it, to give me the codes to do it without the physical card was a pain in the butt. But hey, better late than never.
I'm with the
good stuff.
I'm just giving you.
Oh,
crap.
I know, I love it.
I know you're good. As far as supporters of the channel are concerned, guys, I don't think there are two bigger supporters than these two guys here. So any kind of crap I ever give David or Brandon, it is all just in good fun because they're great. They're awesome dudes. But what's up, everybody? Matt Hurley, welcome. He's using those emojis to the fullest. I like it, Matt. I like it. Seawolf Z06 doing the same kind of thing. What's up? 10 seconds Z06. I got through it that time. I almost, in my head, I had to like stop and really think about what I was about to say before I said eclipse at the end, but we're good. You got it. You got the emojis. There they are. There they are. You can see David's playing with them now.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
That's all I wanted.
All right. So, guys, again, if you're interested in joining the memberships of the channel, I will paste a link in here somewhere. I got to get it first. I'll paste a link in the chat section here so you guys can join if you are interested in supporting the channel even more than you already do. That would be a fantastic thing. So let me just grab this link. How to winterize your car. Ooh.
I wonder if 10 Seconds 06 got a speeding ticket this week. Have you been,
it's about par for the course.
Been being nice.
It's gonna be 10 tickets Z06 in a minute.
Yeah. All right, guys. Here's the link to the memberships in the chat. If you're interested in joining the channel and helping out a little bit, I would appreciate everybody that does. We've got, I think, 22 members now. I'm putting out some custom videos here and there as far as like behind the scenes. I have another one ready to go. You guys really seem to like the first one, so yeah. There's more to come.
Can I go back to catch that one?
Yeah,
that's what I wanted.
Yep, you can absolutely do it. You're gonna love it. It's pretty funny. All the stuff.
I've been looking forward to that one.
I was gonna say all the behind the scenes stuff that I put in that video. None of it. I did all this before I even had a membership. Like I did not do any of this thinking that this was going to turn into anything. So this is just like normal stuff that I do behind the scenes.
I can't wait.
And like this,
I've always said I was going to do it eventually, but yours has got to be great.
This new one coming up, I uploaded it, and I'm like, man, when I was editing it, I was like, I do not know if I want to put this in there. Like, I just do something really weird, and like I even flat out tell Dana, I said this would be a behind the scenes video but I'm not going to put it in because then everybody will know how weird I am, and I put it in anyway.
That's like, what we're paying for.
You guys are going to see it. Yep.
We're paying for the weird, man.
There it is. All right, guys. So membership to the channel is in the chat here. But what we are really going to talk about today, guys, is a bunch of ZR1 stuff, a bunch of C8 stuff in general. But before we get into that, I want to reiterate what it is we're giving away this month, because the month of November, the sponsor is Paragon Performance, but David and Brandon wanted to get in big on this too, and they decided to give away one of their custom painted intakes for the Z06. I counted how many we have. We have 12 people entered right now. 12. Your odds of winning right now are 1 in 12. So you guys want to get entered on this, you win a $3,000 intake, or if you decide to pass on that, we're also giving away a $500 Paragon Performance gift certificate, which is really awesome too. So if you get called and you don't want the intake, you can choose the Paragon Performance gift certificate, and then the second person that gets called will get whatever the first person didn't take. So either way, we're going to have two different winners.
And even if you go up to 500, I'll buy your intake back for 500. You walk away.
Yeah.
No money out.
And that's pretty crazy, guys. So you get $500. David's going to buy your old one. You'll literally have a brand new intake, and you will have no money invested in it.
Zero.
That's the way to do it. I don't know. So that's
Black Friday's this month.
Black Friday is this month, and we actually have
Yep.
somebody on the channel here. We have a special guest on the channel that's going to get to talk to us a little bit about some Black Friday deals from Paragon Performance. And wouldn't you know it, it's Corey. It's Corey. What's up, Corey?
It's that one guy.
That's that one guy, yeah. So, guys, we obviously got Corey from Paragon Performance in the house. He's going to tell us a lot about well, hopefully you can tell us about some of the secret Black Friday deals coming up. At least some of them.
I might know a thing or two.
Might know a thing or two. He does kind of work there. So, yeah, we got Corey in the house. For any questions you guys have for him, you can always shoot him in the chat. I'll make sure to get him over to him if he's not watching the chat, but I bet he is. So, anything you guys might want to know about that. Plus, Corey's going to tell us a little bit about the Black Friday deals, and I'm going to start poking his brain a little bit about Paragon Performance in general. They are the ones as the sponsor of the channel this month, so he is here to basically deliver anything you want to know about Paragon Performance. With that said, we're going to talk about ZR1 news. We're going to talk about the giveaways a lot because I don't want any of you guys to miss any of these giveaways. These two giveaways this month are possibly the most expensive items we've ever given away on this channel. So you want to get in on this stuff, guys. Anyway, if you guys haven't seen this yet, and I'm sure everybody in here has, you can win a C8 ZR1 right now through the link in the description down below. This is a 2025 ZR1 with a ZTK performance package, plus you get 30 grand. The car is literally not even out yet, and you can win it. So the second that car comes available, you can have one. And you get extra bonus entries for clicking the link in the description down below. Check them out if you want to win this car. If you say, you know what, Justin, I really like the idea of winning a C8 ZR1, but I really just don't like that new competition yellow. Well, check out the second link in the description because you can win the red one instead. This is a torch red, same kind of setup, ZTK package, plus you get 25 grand with this one, and you get 50% extra bonus entries if you click on that one. So links for all this stuff in the description down below. Take your shot. Try to win a ZR1. I mean, how awesome would that be? Not only will you be one of the first ones with a ZR1, but you will have paid nothing for it. I don't think you can beat that. So let's start off, since we are doing the giveaway. We're focusing big on Paragon Performance for the month. Let's see, Corey, if you want to give us an idea of what we can expect from Paragon Performance for Black Friday.
So on any holiday sale, generally we're always going to have Paragon and CCS branded stuff. Those are in-house branded that we are able to discount and not break what's called a minimum advertisement price. For those of you that are unfamiliar, it's called MAP pricing. So for example, if Corsa has a minimum advertisement price of $1,000 and we or anybody else advertise that at a discounted rate, even during the holidays, we can actually be in big trouble with Corsa or any manufacturer at this point. So certain brands, unless they allow us to discount them, we cannot discount them. But other brands like Borla and Eventuri will be on discount for Black Friday. That's the only time of the year that Eventuri is ever on sale.
Wow.
Justin, obviously you're familiar. David, you're familiar. Brandon, you've been in the cars with it. That is a huge thing. Last year, we sold out of all Eventuris within like the first day or two. So we're pretty stocked up this year in preparation because last year was the first year it ever went on sale ever.
Wow.
Yeah. I remember, I think we were in that first group and it came in, what was it, Corey? It was like February, I think.
Yeah.
They came in February. That sounds right.
Yeah. And I have a I have a video coming soon, Corey, that's just the E-Venturi, the difference it made on my car, 60 to 130. It's really, really impressive.
Yeah, I mean, I've had, so I'll be very interested to see that.
Yep.
Another creator had done one where we actually had it on his car. Then he took it off because it was my pre-production one and then put it back on. And I was like, I mean, going from stock to modified to stock, nobody really does that. And he was like, I thought it made a difference. And then I did that and I didn't realize how big of a difference it made.
Right.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. No, Brandon and I do stock, modified stock, modified stock.
Yeah, they do.
Tear crap apart.
Yep.
Yeah. So be on the lookout for, pretty heavily discounted Paragon and CCS stuff. This is the first time we're actually talking about it. I want to advertise ahead of the time, so I figured this would be the best opportunity to get it out there to the mutual clients and friends that we have on the channel. So it will be starting Monday the 25th, and going until Monday the 2nd. So that's also the longest we've ever done the sale. Usually we don't start it till either that Wednesday or Thursday of Thanksgiving. I wanted to give the shipping department a little more notice this time, so to help spread it out and help against people's traveling and everything. We're starting at that Monday the 25th.
Nice.
Nice.
All right, guys. So Paragon is going to be the focus of the channel for the month anyway. So whenever that Black Friday deal starts on Monday, we'll be doing a live video. I'll remind you all of that anyway. In the meantime, let's smash that thumbs up button, guys. Let's get to our typical 100 by 8 o'clock if we can, please. We're at 56 currently. We have over 130 people watching. We should be able to easily hit that number. So thumbs up. Let's see. We got some questions here. Obviously, we're going to have nothing but praise for Corey. Everybody's talking about how great he is. So, Corey, you can sleep tight tonight. But Professor Corvette says, can Paragon come out with hatch strut towers in carbon fiber?
I haven't been asked that yet. They'd probably be less than $2,000.
Right.
Unlike the GM ones, but I don't know why we couldn't. I don't know why C8 Rally Driver hasn't. That would be something I'd want to ask Keith, just to say like, hey, is this an option or not? And if so, what could you do? I know there are certain companies that make strut tower covers. I saw one a while ago that was like a cover with a magnet on the back, but I don't know about the actual strut support itself. If that, why it could not be, or maybe it's just a tooling cost. I don't know.
Okay, so we'll put that as a maybe. So NBA Live says, can't wait to see what the inventory does on the ZR1. I'm guessing it's probably too early to ask this, Corey, but do you guys have any inner workings with the possibility of wanting to do something with the ZR1?
So the airbox, after talking to Josh at Caravan, is the exact, or not Caravan, Carlisle. The airbox itself is the exact same from Z06 to ZR1. The difference is where, rather than going straight back to the throttle bodies, it curves around each side to go down into the turbo. So we are planning to day one put an intake on the ZR1, and then Eventury will redesign the inlet pipes.
Oh, good to know.
Yeah.
AWE, somebody's asking about AWE being on sale. So Corey kind of touched on this earlier. There's certain products that they sell that they can't really adjust the price too much on for Black Friday purposes. And I would imagine AWE falls into that category, right, Corey?
In the past, they have been, yes. They unless they give the dealer an additional discount, we can't advertise that accordingly. So because it goes against the MAP pricing. So a lot of dealers or manufacturers, AWE, Corsa, Eventury, just throwing names out there, if they do a Black Friday sale, their dealers like myself, they don't always give a discount for. So dealers that are discounting outside of MAP pricing or just cutting into their own margins. So usually like a manufacturer like ourselves, if Eventury gives us 5%, we give you 5%. That way nobody's out anything, and it's the direct manufacturer Eventury that's given the discount.
Gotcha. Paul Yunker says, Justin, please confirm that I have a Venmo entry on this month's drawing for the Paragon Performance Gift Certificate. I don't know if I have one from you, Paul. Unless it came in under a different name. Let me check real quick here. So, no.
So yeah, I'm getting a Corvette next month. I might just put it on this intake and stuff. Or the gift card.
You got a delivery December 6th at the museum. You're doing your eBay delivery.
I am.
All right, so
it's going to be awesome.
Steve, we're going to talk about that in a second. But Steve Robertson just donated $100. So that puts Steve at officially the highest amount donated yet for this. So Steve Robertson is at $250 donated. He is $150 higher than the next highest person. So as of right now, Steve has a real good chance of winning, or better chance than anybody else of winning this intake or the Paragon Performance Gift Card, whichever option he chooses. Paul, I do not have an entry for you unless you donated in under a different name that I'm not seeing here. Because I'm sorry. I do have one for you. I don't know how I didn't see that just a second ago. Yeah.
No, he's not green.
I got one for you, Paul. He's not green, yeah. Oh, God. That's good. I don't know how I missed that.
Hey Corey, somehow I didn't know about your E-Ray coming. Do you care to share any of the specs? I heard the hysteria part. What else are you looking for as far as option wise on that thing?
Yeah, so I'm keeping certain things a secret for upcoming channel. I may take inspiration from, like, example, the three of you, and might make a my own YouTube channel because I have nothing better to do with my life. So,
There you go.
but from a basic sense, it's a 3LZ Hysteria convertible.
Nice.
Nice.
So,
I
and
don't know
it's
how
not.
you're gonna have time, bro. I mean, I'm busy enough, and it's hard as hell. I don't know how you're gonna have time, but I'm interested to see all your content.
We'll
Can I ask
figure it out.
one more question?
Yep.
What made you choose the E-Ray over the Z06? Was it more for just kind of being different, than the Z's out there, or what? Was there something that pulled you towards the E-Ray?
So if I live south, I would buy a Z06. No ifs, ands, or buts, because I personally drive my cars year round. Being in Iowa, we do get a little bit of snow, not as much as other states. But I had to think of it as far as a marketing opportunity for the company, where we already have essentially two Z06s between a shop car and Rob's car. So why would we need a third one?
Okay.
So we don't have an E-Ray. We have two Stingrays. So from that standpoint, on driving the car yearly, all-wheel drive, not having an E-Ray, getting one, it made the most sense from the marketing opportunity for me to give the company. But if I live south, personally, I would choose a Z06. It's the best car in its class for its money, no questions asked. But I do believe the E-Ray is the most practical car as far as an everyday vehicle.
He got tired of Justin
Well-
hating on the E-Ray all the time.
Oh man, I'm
I put
telling
that
you.
in there for Nate.
I was like, I'm 3 against 1 right now.
Well, it's funny because there's at least one or two people that sign on to these lives, and they talk about how much I hate the E-Ray, and I do not hate the E-Ray. I don't hate it at all. I think what you just said, Corey, is spot on. Hit the nail on the head. The car has a very, very specific purpose, and outside of that, the Z06 is the car for me. Like, there's no other alternative there. But I would never in a million years tell somebody anything about the car that they're selecting. Like, if you're getting an E-Ray, I am absolutely happy for you. I know you deserve it more than probably anybody I can even think of. So I have no problems with the E-Ray. I mean, you saw how I was in Steven's E-Ray. I mean, his is obviously not exactly stock, but at the same time, it's like, these things are nuts. These cars are absolutely incredible.
But Corey's got to hook up with the Lingenfelter folks. I would get it. Brandon and I talk about this all the time. I'd get an E-Ray and put a 427 in the back of that bad boy.
Yeah. Well, did you see where Magnuson has released 2 new superchargers for the Stingray, which I mean's probably going to be for the E-Ray as well. And they're priced like really good, like $12,900 or something. It's like very good pricing for supercharger kits. So
I know, man.
So I'm planning to go a little bit different mechanical because we've already done the Magnuson E-Ray, and we had some findings along the way that were very good to have the knowledge as far as moving forward. So kind of, again, me getting an E-Ray rather than a Z. From a marketing standpoint, I will probably have to go not against Magnuson, but I will have to go with something else, just so that it gives us the more media exposure and marketing opportunity than what we've already
done. 427 and put that badge on the side. I'm telling you,
man. It's like 427 with a supercharger with heads and cams. What's the worst that could happen?
Right,
a whole lot of good stuff.
All right, so we got Steven Risha donated $50. And Steve Robertson, you are right. You're $350, not $250. So Steve Robertson is a good bit ahead of the next highest person here. So he's got $250 on you guys. You guys cannot let Steve Robertson run away with this. Somebody's got to start matching him.
And anything up to 500, if you win it, you get your money back basically when you send me your core.
Yep. How can you beat
that? Easy,
you
guys.
literally can't beat that.
No, you can't.
So we had some questions coming in here. So Professor Corvette says, Corey, are you driving in the autocross on December 6th?
Yes, I plan to rent one of NCM's car. I could autocross the E-Ray. What's the worst that would happen? I'd have at least 4 miles on it. So I may just rent one of their cars.
Yeah, that would probably be the
until you can PPF yours. That's probably the safest thing to do.
Seawolf06 says, congrats on your awesome spec, E-Ray, Corey.
Yep.
Thank you.
Do you think the
Love it.
this one
It's not gonna be like any other Corvette. I'm doing the opposite of what everybody does.
Now I'm intrigued.
I was gonna say now.
Now
I
I'm intrigued.
have to know now.
Now you really have me.
Take the
Yeah,
electric
now you
motors
really-
out of it. Is that what you're doing?
Say what?
Take the electric motor out of it. Is that what you're doing? That would be awesome.
No, I just buy a
You're
Stingray.
about to get flamed
No.
on a date. Here it comes.
No, from an aesthetic standpoint, it's not going to be. I'm shocked that nobody's done it because the opportunity's been there since 2020 on the Stingray, but nobody's done it yet. So I had this idea in my mind forever, and I'm just going to do it.
Now I am intrigued.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Yeah.
obviously we're going to have to keep a close eye on what Corey's doing here because it could be something new and interesting. And if you guys haven't been following this at all, which I don't know how you would have missed this, but the supercharged eray, of course, he's actually in here in the chat section. He has one of the craziest builds ever, and Paragon did a lot of the build themselves. So when it comes to E-rays and crazy builds, Paragon Performance knows a thing or two. So, yeah.
Yeah, the thing that got me on that car, man, is that you guys clipped off a 998 on, was it like 6 pounds of boost, 7 pounds of boost? That's nothing, and it drives like stock.
Yeah, I think
man.
6 or 7.
Yeah, you're running a 998 and it drives like stock on 6 pounds of boost. What a world, man! That's insane. Brandon, you know how hard it used to be to run 998?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd take like 300 shot of nitrous.
300 shot of nitrous and like
456
LSs
gear
that you've been
and
through.
slicks and everything.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so we got,
and that's a 4,000-pound car.
We got Steven Risha in here with $50. I don't know if I said that yet, but Darren Burnett just donated 30. So we're moving along, guys. We're moving along. That's a good thing because at the end of the day, I don't want any of you guys to miss out on this. Somebody in here could potentially win a $3,000 intake for $10. Literally.
Yep.
I've seen stranger things.
And even if you're in it, like even for $350 and I buy your Corvette, you just made $150 on that intake. You made money.
I mean, as of right now, the highest donation is Steve Robertson. So at $350, if he wins, he's still going to make money. He's going to get the intake and money. Like,
yep. That's why, guys, you got to get in on this, man. This is like, you're never going to see anything like this again. Yeah. Ever, I assure you.
This is definitely crazy, but
well, and then when Justin and I talked about, you guys have been so great in supporting us, supporting the channel, just so great. Like we were just like, man, we're doing this for you guys. We're not really getting anything out of this, to be honest with you. We're doing this as a big thank you to everybody that supports Justin's channel, that comes on these lives, that supports us. That's what we're doing it for.
Well said. I like it.
I love it.
All right, so since I just got the message and I just was reminded just now, where was it? Oh, these comments, they're coming in too fast.
I know.
Wheeler O'Hara. Yeah, guys, smash the thumbs ups. Where are we at? Where are we at with this? The thumbs up game, we are at 69. That's not good.
No, I have
77. My phone didn't update. Either way, that's still not 100. I don't like it. We got 150 almost watching, it looks like. Let's smash those thumbs ups, guys. Smash the thumbs up.
Smash them for Corey.
Yeah, Corey's here taking time out of his day. I did get a question somewhere in here. Somebody asked about your dogs. What was your dog's name?
So the one to my left that looks more like a husky is Kaiba, and the one that looks more like a shepherd is Roz. They are German Shepherd Husky mixes.
Nice. That's what I have. I have a German Shepherd Husky mix. Great dogs.
Bill Miller says, "Let's do it tonight." The raffle. There's no way, guys. This thing's being carried all the way to the end of the month. This is too big of a giveaway to do in 1 or even 2 weeks.
Yep.
Wheeler O'Hara though says he wants me to show off his 948. I told him that I would. You guys might be asking yourselves by now, Justin, what is a 948? That doesn't exist. A Porsche 948 doesn't exist. Well, it does, actually, whenever you do the work that Wheeler O'Hara did. Check this thing out. Nobody on this channel is going to dislike this, by the way, just so you know. You might be a Porsche fan, you might not be a Porsche fan, but you will be a fan of this car because this is looks like a 944 that has been LS swapped. Yeah.
Oh,
LS swapped. Look at that.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that.
I bet that thing scoots. that can't weigh very much at all.
Those cars weigh nothing.
No.
They weigh nothing.
Yeah.
They're like
So
2,700 pounds or something.
Yeah. You put in an LS engine in that car, it is going to move. Not only that, but this is possibly one of the nicest, cleanest 944s I've ever seen. I believe that's a 944. I actually might be wrong. Wheeler, can you help me out here? Is that a 944?
It looks like an LS3. I got to read the specs on this car.
Yeah.
Again, now I'm intrigued.
Right. We got all kinds of things to be intrigued about tonight. So this might look like your normal Porsche. I believe it's a 944. I'm waiting for him to confirm. I'm pretty sure it is. But the LS engine is, yeah, just like Bill Miller said, it is really stuffed in there. But to be honest with you, the car comes with a 4-cylinder typically. You can get it as a turbo 4-cylinder. And even the 4-cylinder looks kind of stuffed in there. And I have no idea how that is, but this looks right at home to me. I'll tell you what, this looks like this car could have come this way.
It looks amazing. I'd like to know the specs on the engine.
Okay, it is.
I wonder
it
if
is
that's
a
the
944.
original battery location or not. Does anybody know? I don't know a lot about the 944s. Is that the original battery location, or is that moved from the front driver's side where the airbox is?
I believe that's a stock location. Josh from Blackout Tinting is big into the 944s. He owns three 944s. One of them's built like his silver one is like pristine. It's a turbo 944, and the other ones are kind of like, he does what he can with them, but
that's a clean car.
They're all stock 944s. This one, I would love to drive this. I bet this thing is like,
oh dude, it would be so fun. Oh, and it would have that LS sound, yeah. And its specs. I mean, if it's got a nice cam in it, it's got some good chop.
Yep, he did say that is the original battery location. I thought it was.
Nice.
Okay.
I would like to do that actually, Bill. Bill Miller says, wonder what the Porsche mechanics would say if they wanted to work on it. I think it would be hilarious to take this to the Porsche dealership and just be like, yes, something's not right. It doesn't sound like your normal 4-cylinder. And then when they pop the hood, just be like, what's this?
That's awesome.
But no, that
thing looks like a good autocross car.
It would be.
I bet that thing would be perfect for autocross.
Actually, Brandon, I was going to say one of the guys that works in Orlando built a track car. It was a Cayman, and he put a Coyote in it, and like a built Coyote and a Cayman, and gutted it, and it's like, oh my god, it's so fast, so fast.
I bet that thing is even lighter than this thing.
Oh, it's insane fast. It's the best. It's like a go-kart on the track. It's crazy.
We got a donation from Seawolf Z06, which is going to probably come out to about $50. I'll get you entered in as well. So moving along here,
yeah,
guys.
even if you have a convertible, guys, like we've done these for convertibles, and when they have the clear cover on them, they look amazing.
Yep.
Like, don't miss out just because you have a convertible. You can show this off. This is jewelry, man. It looks good.
Yeah.
But we're going to finish up with a couple more of Wheeler O'Hara's pictures here. Like I said, even the LS withstanding, this is the cleanest 944 I've ever seen. Like,
it is nice.
It is super clean. It looks brand new.
To me, the LS just puts it over the top. Like,
yeah.
It's hard to beat an LS. Like,
right.
It really is.
Yeah, I mean, look at even the interior. Like this car is 50 plus years old at this point, and it looks brand new.
Yeah, it looks good. It looks really good. Very well done, Wheeler. Very well done.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Really nice. I just wrote, oh, that's nice. And manual too.
Yep.
Here
was another.
And let us know in the comments. Is it a LS3? Is it a LS3? Like, what LS is it? And like, have you the build for it?
The covers look like LS1, but the intake almost looked like LS3.
An LS1.
That's what I said.
Okay.
That's what I said. The intake looks like an LS3.
It looked based on his email he sent me a while ago. I think it's an LS1.
And then trans-wise, is that what's a 6-speed? I'm assuming that's a 6-speed, or does he do like a 5-speed setup on that? Because I'm trying to think what would be fit with that perfectly.
6-speed would fit with it perfectly. Or not if it's an LS1 actually. But there is a video here that everybody wants me to play, so let me play this video.
Do it.
Let's see. I don't know if it's just gonna play or if it's gonna make me download.
He says 97 LS1 from a C5. He built it himself. Nice job, man.
Yeah.
Nice job.
Definitely. Yeah. That is a heck of a car. All right, let's see if I can play this. Bam. Yes, I can play this. Okay.
Bill, turbos, man, not a Pro Charger. Turbskis on that LS, baby.
It's a 5-speed.
There's not a lot of room. It'd probably be hard to get some turbos.
You're already taking, even if it's an LS1, you're taking what, 350 horsepower into a car that weighs like 2,700 pounds.
Oh yeah. Hey, don't sleep on the early LSs. If you build them right, they'll make a lot of power.
Oh yeah. All right, guys. Here's this video real quick. Oh yeah, it's Cam.
I love this crap.
All right. There you have it. So if you guys want to know if it was cammed or not, guess what it is. Of course it is.
Sounds good.
If you're gonna LS swap a Porsche, you better be doing some serious work to that engine first. Yeah.
Well, if you have the LS out and you didn't cam swap it, because I'm going to tell you, out of all the cam swaps you can do, the LS one is not bad.
All right, guys, smash the thumbs up button if you can. Corey, I'm going to have a question for you that I think a lot of people don't necessarily know the answer to, but Paragon performance is at this point relatively synonymous with C8 Corvette stuff, especially. Tell us a little bit about what makes Paragon different. Like why would I want to go to Paragon versus XYZ website?
Sure. So we do actually get that quite a bit, where people say, why would I buy from you and not somebody else? Especially for the standpoint that things that are non-Paragon branded, there are other resellers out there. So where we try to stand apart from everybody else is the fact, and I'm going to self-gloat a little bit, but the level of customer service, the level of inventory we keep on hand, the ability of responding, during and after hours, the knowledge that we have, there's not really anybody else out there in the entire world that's doing what we're doing specifically for one make, one model. You'll have a lot of other companies that may resell stuff or standardly just rely on drop shipping, but nobody's actually physically stocking product to the amount that we are. I mean, we have over $2 million in inventory that is sitting there waiting to be shipped the same day. So rather than relying on others to stock it and have the knowledge from the manufacturer, we are actually stocking it, have the knowledge, do the installs, take our photos, take our videos. I mean, all we do is live and breathe these cars, and that's all we've been doing since January of 21. We're not working on Camaros. We're not working on Cadillacs. We're not working on Mustangs. We're not doing any of that. We're specifically the Corvette and the C8 Corvette of that. So we do get more often than not where people will buy from other companies, realize that they don't have the answers or the support or the knowledge to be able to answer their questions, and then they have to call and ask us. And it's like, well, we'll help you. Why are you asking us? Oh, it's because we have the answers. So that's where, when it comes to other places, especially from a marketing and media standpoint, nobody's doing the amount that we are within of a reseller standpoint for install videos and guidelines and things like that.
Nice. Yeah, and that's the thing too, guys. I'm going to tell you right now. So if you didn't see Justin or our videos on doing his CAD install at Bowling Green, we got stuck where we needed some stuff. And Corey's booth was, we're just going to leave it at that. Corey's booth was right next to ours. And he's not involved in this at all. Like, were you, Corey? Like, nothing. You weren't, like, we didn't have.
I had zero. It wasn't a Paragon part. It wasn't Paragon.
Exactly.
There was nothing with me involved.
And literally, he's on the phone getting stuff overnighted to Bowling Green to help with this whole situation. And I mean, not his part, not his product, just good person. And again, guys, like, you're not going to get customer service like this from any other company out there. It's unheard of.
And what people need to realize too is these install videos, like how long that those things take, and the fact that they're doing this to help us out as customers to be able to, because I've looked at some of their videos and stuff I bought, and so to be able to have that to go back on, like, people have to realize, like, that stuff takes a lot of time, and they put in the effort to do that. And I think that kind of speaks volumes for a company that does that, especially on socials, kind of help the customers out. Not only does it sell more products, but also helps the customer feel empowered to install that product and
do it themselves.
It's very helpful. And I think I ordered clear tail lights I think they were there. I want to say 2 days. Don't quote me on that. It might have been 3 days, but I mean, it was like I ordered them. They were there, packaged perfectly. Like I've had great experiences too. So
Yeah, and there's things that go like when I got my first Venturi intake, even before I had gotten it, Corey was like, "Hey, FYI, we've had a couple of little acrylic cubes fall out. Check yours as soon as you get it." And sure enough, mine was one of the ones that had some scuffs on it. Don't worry about it. I got you. Sent the next one out, replaced it right away, and then I just did a video on the front lip. I had an issue where it just wouldn't line up. I didn't. Did I call you and Corey and say, "Hey man,
Nope.
like, nope." Corey's like, "I just shipped you another one. Send me that one back. We'll send it to the manufacturer." I mean, guys, you're not going to get this level of customer service from any other company right now, other than us. I mean, but
I'd like to say I gave you inspiration.
Where shipping has been just a nightmare on some of this stuff, but. Yeah, so guys, you're not going to get that level of attention and service. And I've told Corey many a time now that I'm doing it on a much smaller level than he is. I don't know how he answers emails every day. Like, just the limited number. He probably gets thousands. I don't know, but he does. He answers them.
Yeah, and that's something from my background. I mean, all I've been in is customer service my entire life. And I mean, I'd be lying if I'd say there's people that they would probably say the complete opposite of me and hate me and have nothing but terrible things to say. But you can't make everybody happy. And I'm not going to necessarily strive to make everybody happy because some people you just can't. And not every customer is necessarily a good customer. Not every customer is a necessary customer.
Yeah.
So that's something where at Paragon, we don't try to sell you. We don't, if you call us and say, "Hey, I want to buy an exhaust," I don't say, "Well, if you're doing an exhaust, you also need to do the headers." I say, "Okay, you're doing an exhaust. What questions do you have?" And all we do is just try to give them the knowledge. We don't push for sales, and it's not because we don't need the sales, but it's the standpoint on you've already done your research. You're just needing a little bit of extra confirmation or understanding. Is this in stock? Is it not? And if you decide to buy from us, great. If you decide not to buy from us, great. It's not going to hurt us by any means necessary by on the other standing point where I have to push for sales or try driving sales or say, "Well, if you buy it today, I'll give you 5% off." I'm not going to do that. I don't need to do that, nor should a company have to give a discount to sell something.
Right.
Yeah.
Professor,
well, you guys,
Professor
sorry.
Corvette
I
says
was just going to say one last thing real quick, and then we can move on from that. But when I called Corey after I had ordered the Venturi and their exhaust, I was like one of the first ones to get both. I told him, "Hey man, I'm gonna put this on YouTube. I'm gonna dyno it. I'm gonna put the numbers out there. Like, make sure you're cool with it." And they vet their products so well, guys. I mean, just the process of getting the Venturi to market is amazing. You got to hear the story. That's another good video idea for you, Corey. But when you look at it, he was like, "Yeah, put it out there. Do you and let us know. We're actually excited to see what it makes."
Yep. I'm never going to try to buy. I'm not going to try to sponsor people. And in this case, I mean, you paid for everything full retail, but I would never try to sponsor somebody and expect it to be always have to be good, because too often than not, that's what happens where there's only, you hear the good things. We're like that front lip. Most companies would say, "Oh, David, you shouldn't have posted that video." No, post it. It's okay. I'm not perfect. We had an issue with the manufacturer. We're getting the lip back. We're sending it to them, and that's that. So
now,
and I didn't bash on you in the video. I mean, it happens. I was like, "Yeah, I'll talk to Corey about this and see what because products are products."
One thing I did want to actually touch on in that same aspect there was Corey actually sent out the magnetic shift paddles to me, and whenever I got them, he flat out told me, he's like, "Do an honest review here." He's like, don't church things up, don't say things that aren't true. I want to know exactly how you feel about these things. So with that said, when someone sends you a product for a sponsorship kind of thing, and they tell you that, I'm immediately thinking, "Oh God, these things are going to be horrible." So I went into it with possibly the lowest expectations on the planet. And once I actually installed them and I clicked it for the first time, I was like, "Huh, I like that." Then I was holding it next to the stealth interior package color on the car, and I was like, those actually match pretty nicely, because I was worried at first that they weren't going to match anything on the interior. And then I was like, I'm gonna text Corey and tell him so far I'm liking it, but I'm gonna reserve judgment until I drive this thing. After I drove it, I was so freaking impressed with it. I sent him a message and I was just like, I don't know why to this day, I'm not sure why he like warned me so many times about like making sure that I was honest in the review and stuff, because I felt like he was expecting I was going to hate these things. They were wonderful, but the fact that he did that in a way like,
Right.
yes, they were sponsored, but at the same time, don't wow me here. I want to know your real opinion.
And that was the main reason for that. And there was a few individuals that we had that did videos on them where that particular product was one that had been teased and promoted for quite some time and very anticipated. And truth be told, when the manufacturer came at me with the price, I told him absolutely not. I'm like, look, man, this is way too expensive. I don't know that I would personally pay for it. I just don't know that I would. He did make a design change from the ones that I had in our car to the ones that everybody else has, that made them more clicky. He actually had a piece of foam that was in between the paddle and the backing. So when you shifted up, it was nothing, no click, no nothing. It was just like a slapping backward sound. So I was like, look, for $730, like, come on, man. But we got him. We all of us in the shop changed our minds on them. So that's why I was like, this is an investment that I don't want people feeling as though that we're trying to buy positive exposure by giving them to you and others, saying, oh, here, push us because we need to sell them. They'll sell when they sell, and they sold out in a week and a half.
Right.
So
wow.
Good bad problem to have. So I just sent out blue, black, and red parts from like our billet caps. I just sent those out today to the manufacturer because they're going to try matching that anodization. Initially, the thought was like, oh, we'll just get them raw, we'll do them in house. It's too much of a pain on the butt. So I'm just going to have them directly done from the manufacturer. That way we also don't have to worry about any quality issues of thicker like powder coating or anodization. So they are coming. I don't know when, but I did send the test sample out. That was today. So we should have them this week.
Excellent.
So Professor Corvette says that Paragon's logo should be a beard. And then the other one, this one had me going. Paul Yunker says, Paragon Performance going to make any manly mountain man soap?
I'll start including it in every order.
It's one of those commercials for like the Sasquatch soaps and stuff. They always have like this real manly guy with a beard advertising it. It's hilarious. Oh,
well, Lord. This is short. I mean, from when I saw you guys at NCM, this is 2 inches shorter.
Yeah, it was a lot longer at NCM. Even at Carlisle, it was longer than that.
Did you donate it to Locks of Love?
No, I'm starting to give some to our clients, just randomly get put it
in the box. Oh, so I should expect
it's a little baggy.
Hair in the mail. I'm gonna open my mail and give me a little Ziploc bag.
Can you imagine opening up like a brand new magnetic shift paddle and there's like a weird spot of hair?
Corey was here.
Yeah, Corey was here.
Laughed this hard. Oh, that was great.
Let's see. So we got Jeremy Miller, 2020 Matrix 8 donates $100. Thank you, Jeremy. I did get it. Darren Burnett donated 30. I think I already said that, but as of now, guys, we are up to, I think, 16 donations now.
Yeah, so and Jeremy, knowing you, I don't know why you're not in on this intake giveaway, bro. Like, knowing you, like, I don't know why.
I'm sure he is. I mean, he donated $100.
You got to get in on this, Jeremy.
Yeah. You know how great that intake would look sitting in your car?
I know, that's sitting in your garage.
Scratchy beards of love.
I love that. And I do like your videos that Rob does too. The Indiana Jones one was just absolute gold, Corey. I told Rob that.
And that was for the magnetic shift paddles.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was. I know, but it was absolute gold because it was. So, he even like replied back that I'm a fan of the franchise, but you guys nailed that. I love the one where he did remember the one, Brandon, where he did like the parts install thing where it was like supposed to be like a 5-minute install and it was like 2 hours later and he was in the trunk like we like. Yeah. I love Rob's stuff, man. Like it's great. It's gold.
Yeah, so we try to have fun, and again, touching back on we don't try to push sales and we just try to give knowledge and everything. I mean, I've had countless guys telling me that they watch our install videos to install parts that they never bought from us, which is perfectly fine. We want to be here for the community in any way that we can. And I mean, in the big picture, we're new. We didn't come out till 21 and we came out of nowhere. So everybody coming like, oh, who's Paragon? They've never been here. Who and what are they? There's been many rumors about us, all those that we have debunked. And at the end of the day, we just want to try to help out the community to the best that we can and do the best at it. So Jeremy, the owner of Paragon, understands that better than anybody. And again, having stocking on hand, having the ability of customer service and all that, that's something that means the most to us as far as a core of the company.
Yeah. And that is a gigantic part of any business. Customer service means more than most people realize. But one question that's come up twice here now, Corey, is what about the floating center caps? I knew you were waiting for this one.
I was waiting. It took longer than what I expected.
Right.
Let me I can tell you right now, and I can tell you good news and bad news with them if you really want.
Okay, let's hear it.
Just give it to us straight.
So, as of Wednesday last week, 11:04 a.m., I have a box of them. They're packed and they are shipped, and I will have them this week. The bad part of them is that General Motors back up. There's different center caps designs for the OEM wheels. There are the standard ones, which are the Corvette flag with like a carbon flash background. Then there's like Stingray R, C8R, Stingray, and something else. Because of the OEM center cap with the Corvette flag is actually a three-piece center cap. You have the back plastic mechanism, then you have the backing plate, and then you actually have the Corvette flag as its own separate piece. Because of that being a separate piece and the edges roll over, when we do a floating center cap, it's actually touching the wheels in certain spots because of paint or clear coat or whatever it is. So it would roll around and float for a little bit and then get stuck. Float around a little bit and get stuck. With the one-piece center caps, the Stingray R, the C8R, or whatever, perfectly fine, no issues at all, because there's more tolerance than the two or three-piece factory cap. So I shipped them a wheel and all the caps and everything. Their remedy to make the OEM cart or the OEM flag cap work was spacing it out the thickness of the cap, which looked absolutely horrendous. So now what we're having to do is I have to go to General Motors and redesign that one piece, or redesign the flag center cap into a one-piece center cap, and we'll have to sell it like that. The issue with it is that now that I'm going to General Motors, comes with General Motors pricing, because I have to give them a nice little royalty of anything I sell with their branding on it. So my initial plan was to sell these for like $100. I'm not going to be able to do that because I have to get GM's approval. I have to find a manufacturer to make a one-piece center cap, whether it's like a gel coat or something. I have no idea. That is up to my engineer.
Paul Yunker says it best on that one. He says, man, what an engineering nightmare. The amount of work that goes into just making it so your center caps are upright. I mean, seriously.
It's all because the flag is two pieces or three pieces. It's a pain in the butt.
Yeah, and this is the stuff that you don't see. You know, this is the stuff that happens in the background, and this is why Paragon Performance is in the position they're in, where they're, you know, as of right now, I would have to say you're treated as one of the top-notch suppliers or parts people for C8 Corvette specifically. You're doing all this work in the background for a freaking center cap that stays upright. Like,
the big issue is that even if I were to come out with them and I say, oh, they're $100, somebody's going to say, oh, that's $3 worth of plastic.
Yeah, exactly.
If I come out to them and say they're $2.99, and I'm just throwing numbers out there, they'd say, oh, that's not worth $100. So it's like the discredit that we always get, like the paddles being the biggest one. I mean, we were getting blasted on social media on how ridiculously expensive they were and ridiculous. And again, I agree. I think they're too expensive.
Right.
But once I had them in the car, I've driven with them. I understand the engineering that goes behind it, with the soldering board on the inside, the tooling costs, having the actual machine to make that cut out of billet aluminum.
Oh, yeah.
I understand that stuff. I know it's not $3 worth of billet. So it stinks when we get discredited, but that's why certain things like we just won't discount, because if I have to discount a product to sell it, I might as well just sell it at the discounted price. And somebody said it earlier in the chat, on certain things, yes, we might be a little higher than what you may like, but you're also paying for a level of customer service, or as David had, a sense of ease or peace of mind that if I ship you something and it's damaged, guess what? I'm just going to ship you a new one.
Exactly.
It's not a, oh, well, I got to file a claim and let's deal with UPS and okay, I'll just ship you a new one.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, there is, to some degree, you can't put a price on service like that. And honestly, Corey, we've had conversations in the past about, our relationship and everything. I would not even think about using a different company. Paragon has treated me like absolute royalty. And that was really outside of the YouTube thing. Like, it was Corey specifically trying to make a relationship with Justin, not horsepower obsessed. And the approach to all of that, the approach that he took to make all of that happen was absolutely perfect. This is the company that people should be using for aftermarket parts. It's that simple. And not just that, Justin, the parts that they make are incredible.
Yeah. I was just going to say exactly what you just said, but in a little bit of a different way. Just how you're building your channel like a community. That's how Corey and Paragon are building their brand, because, I was buying parts at full retail, put them on my car. I was complimenting them. I was like, hey, Paragon, if you're watching. And then like 2 days later, I get a comment. Yes, we're watching. And then later on, I get an email from Corey, and, he was like, when he was talking to me, he's like, we appreciate what you do, but we're watching you. Yep. And the way they were like, how can we support you? Because like Corey said, I mean, all of that stuff in the first, I mean, I was just buying it from him, being like, hey, can I put it on YouTube? Sure. But the relationships that he's building like a community, and it's amazing to watch that, man. Yes, you're killing it, Corey.
Thank you. I definitely try the best I can, and that goes outside of anybody that even does YouTube. Supercharged eray, I see he's still in the chat. Man, that guy is something else to me. I mean, he's literally turned into a best friend, a brother, a father, whatever you want to tell him. And that has just turned from, being, I would say, a civil person. There was no kissing ass. There was no, oh, this customer's going to spend a lot of money with me. I don't care if you spend $10 with me or $100,000 with me. Every little order is going to count. What I matter is how I can treat you and then how you treat me back in return. Yep. And Steven and I have had a great relationship for years, and it's just something that I definitely take to heart. And, he's not one of my only ones. I've got the three of you. I've got people in Florida, people in Texas, people in Ohio. I mean, all around the world. I went to Australia a couple years ago to meet a client that called me up. I was only with the company for 2 months. And the Pro Charger came out, and he called me and said, hey, my name is Malcolm. I'm building a everyday gentleman sports car. I would like to buy some parts from you. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, sure. What do you got? And he gives me a $40,000 order. And I'm like, what in the heck are you doing? Who are you? What are you? And we just built a great relationship after it. And I didn't care he was spending 40 grand. I'm just like, dude, this car just came out and you're wanting to spend this money on a Pro Charger when there's no public information. Okay. A year and a couple months later, we got him a Pro Charger. And then shortly after, he needed a second car. So I personally bought him a car, drove it to California, shipped it to him. And then the next year I went to Australia, all because of a relationship that was built.
Right.
With stuff like that is why I'm in the business on that sense. I mean, Justin, when you were putting stuff on your car, I'm like, do you want me to come help put it on? I'll help put it on.
Yep.
So I did.
Yep. And that, I don't want to get too much into it, but the what that changed for me was massive. Honestly, our relationship literally started that day.
It did.
But Steve Robertson says it perfect. He says Paragon is the Apple of the automotive world. And I can't tell you how often I get a Paragon Performance product in the mail and I open it up, and every time, you can look at my videos, I'll say this thing's packaged very Apple-esque, because it's like the unboxing is the experience in itself.
I comment on it every video I do for a Paragon thing. I always tell them your packaging is on point. Every video. I love it.
Well, there's something to be said about that. I mean, Apple has it down, obviously. The packaging is part, or the unboxing is part of the experience.
It's the experience.
Yeah.
It is. It is. And I've said that to Corey before about how good their packaging is. So, yeah, absolutely. And then, Justin, did you see, was it Professor Corvette said about getting HPL logo for your center caps?
I did.
I will tell you guys that later this week, I have some wheels to put on that have some center caps that you're going to see that are going to be sick. I can't wait.
I saw your picture of the boxes and your address and everything were all crossed out. I think our front lip was in that picture as well.
It was. I'm
Yep.
out of town for work again, and all the stuff shows up.
It was
week.
redacted information.
Yes, it was top secret.
Yeah, we can't know his address. All right, guys. So seriously, though, we still have a little bit of time here tonight for the giveaway, so you guys should jump into it. We will be giving away both of these items at the end of this month, so we got 2 more weeks after today. On the 25th, the Monday the 25th, these items both will be given away. So you guys want to get in, you want to get entered before that last day, because something tells me there's going to be a lot of entries in between here and there. We're already up to, I think it was 16 now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. We got 15. So 1 in a 15 chance of winning. Not bad odds here, guys, but you are letting Steve Robertson run away with this thing.
Not for making money on it. That's the crazy, guys. Like Justin said, if you're in it for $100, $200, $300, whatever, I'm buying your quarterback for $500. You're gonna get the intake and money.
Yep.
Like, come on, guys. Like,
yep. You can't get the intake and money unless you enter. So, real quick though, guys, I do want to talk about some information. I told you we were going to talk about some ZR1 and C8 information tonight. There is some I want to get through really quickly here. The Corvette ZR1 is already picking up awards. Yes, the car's not even out yet, and it's already winning awards. Now, you guys might recall a very similar conversation that we had about the Z06, because it did the same thing. When the C8 Z06 was out, but not officially out for people to buy, it was winning awards before anybody even touched one. Here it is again. It won an award from Top Gear as 2024's best performance car. Now, obviously, it's not out yet, so to call it a 2024, they're testing. They're able to get their hands on it where we can't, so to them it's a 24. But either way, this thing winning awards, not that any of us should be surprised. I mean, it's 1,064 horsepower in a fantastic platform. Everybody loves the C8 anyway. Why not throw a ridiculous amount of horsepower at it? How's it going to lose? So, yeah. Actually, the third paragraph here says, no surprise that the thing wins, but obviously impressive on Chevy's behalf here to have a car that's not even available yet already winning awards. But outside of that, guys, we also have the Corvette assembly plant is going to be closed for 3 weeks over Christmas/New Year's. Obviously, it's closed for those purposes. There's no secret hidden meeting here. It's closed because people want to enjoy time with their families for those particular holidays. But just so you know, if you have a car that's being built around that time, it's going to be pushed out a little bit. You're not going to get it right away.
Yep.
Let's see. What else do we got here? We have some other news and information. Oh, this one's funny. This one's really funny. This is actually going to affect you too, Corey. So Corey's got, is your E-Race coming is 25, I'm assuming, correct?
Yes.
So there's a new service bulletin that's been issued for the 2024s and 2025s over a PDR problem. Now, this is something, David, Brandon, you might have encountered this. I did as well at Ron Fellows. Randomly, the PDR would just go black. It would just stop.
Yeah.
It would just screen black. Nothing. It wouldn't work. And they told me there what the fix was. But it's funny because the fix that they said is the same fix that GM's saying. And it's actually a TSB, a technical service bulletin, to shut it off and turn it back on. That's your fix.
Yeah, that was the second day that when I was looking for my video on the footage, I said about some of the takes, because some of the stuff, it just went black. It didn't record.
Yep. GM says they give you the very, tech support kind of answer. Unplug it and plug it back in. That's basically what they're telling you. So if you have a problem with your 2024 or 2025 PDR, turn it off and turn it back on.
Yep.
I can't believe that whoever typed up the technical service bulletin that says that, he either is like purposely being a troll or there really is no other fix, and that's all you need to do. Like I don't know.
It's probably some poor guy that came from has a PhD in engineering. It's like, really, I have to type this.
Turn it off and turn it back on.
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same guy who decided to charge $2,000 for the hatch strut supports.
Exactly.
That's the one thing that drives me bonkers anytime I call like customer service or try to find something that's wrong with my computer. That's the first thing they try to get you to do.
Yeah, restart. It's like I haven't already done that.
I always try that. Yeah, it's always the first thing I do. Like, trust me.
Yep. Yep.
Right? Trust me. I already did
Always.
that. All right. So the only other thing, and I haven't actually looked at this yet to see. Let's see. Yep, he's on there. So the top 10 dealerships through dealership sales through October 31st. This list often looks the same anymore. The number one pushing out the most Corvettes is usually either Criswell or McMulkin. It's not Sioka anymore.
Right.
McMulkin is doing a lot more than Sioka, almost double. But the one that we always like to focus on here is the Stingray Chevrolet, because our very own Matt Hurley is in the house here, and between him and his dad, they own / co-own these dealerships. So Stingray Chevrolet doing pretty well there. They are at 227. They're pretty much in the middle of this list. But yeah, it's nice to see these guys pumping out a decent amount of these cars now. We are now to the point officially where you can go down to a Chevrolet dealership and buy a C8 right off the showroom floor, a Stingray at least. Some places you'll even find Z06s and erays.
Yeah.
They're literally available to be purchased right from the lot now. And it's been a long time coming, but we are officially to that point. And people like Matt Hurley, who works at the Stingray Chevrolet / co-owns it with his dad, these are the people that actually do this kind of work. And he's in the chat here. He's on the chat with us every Monday night. So it just kind of gives you that reconfirmation that these are just regular car guys that are doing the same kind of thing. But it's pretty cool to see
Matt's
this.
one of our, I think he's one of our dealers.
Oh, really?
I need to double check. If not, I know I see his name all the time.
Okay.
Matt Hurley down in Florida?
Yeah.
Tampa,
Stingray.
Yeah.
If he's still in here, I'm sure he could answer it.
Which is crazy because I've told him multiple times I'd love to get from Orlando. It's like an hour and change from Orlando to Tampa when I'm working down there to see that stable it is.
Yeah,
Like,
dude.
that
One
would be
of these
glorious.
days, I've been meaning to make the trip myself because it's not that far from Fort Lauderdale whenever I'm down there. But it's just whenever I go to Florida, I very rarely go down there to hang out and have fun. Like I'm down there usually for work stuff. So I don't ever have the chance to just drive up to the Tampa area, but I'd love to see his stable. I mean,
Oh, I know. That's what I told him. I was like,
cool.
I'd love to get over there and see his stable. It'd be amazing. So
yeah. So anyway, it's pretty interesting that the ZR1's already winning some awards here. I know every now and then I'll post up a picture and I'll get your guys' opinion on what what the odds are that one of you are going to be buying a ZR1. It's kind of surprising to me how many people out there say yes, that they're going to buy one, because there's a couple of things. Obviously there's a lot of unknowns here. Price, availability, dealer markups, all this stuff. These are all unknowns. So whenever I ask if you're going to buy one, it's easy to say yes before you know any of this stuff, because when that car comes out and it's priced higher than most people think it's going to be, like I think it's going to be, a lot of these people saying yes are going to be like, nah. Because somebody asked in the chat section earlier that they're seeing a lot of people talking about the C8 Z06 being better than the C8 ZR1. I would not necessarily say it's better, but what I would tell you is that it is probably a better bang for your buck. The Z06 is always that car.
Right. And two things, Taj even said that the ride on the Z06 is definitely harsher. It's more for the track where they went a little bit more comfortable on the ZR1. But I'm gonna say this right now. Brandon's car, like what would you say on that shot you had at the track? What would you say wheel horsepower you're making right now?
Probably like 730 to 730 ish, probably
730 guys, and his car is stupid fast. Let's add another 300 horsepower. I'm in.
Yeah.
Brandon's car is crazy fast.
740 horsepower. That's not enough horsepower to kill yourself easily in. We want.
That's okay.
I wouldn't be able to get in and jab the gas pedal and immediately die. Like
I want a time warp, man. I want to be like my watch is a couple minutes slow because I just time warp.
Yeah, you get to work, and you leave your house at 6:48. You get to work at 6:45. You're like, what?
Exactly. But after experiencing his car with just that much of an increase in power, I am all in. Oh my god.
Oh, it's going to be insane. It's going to be life
absolutely
changing insane.
Professor
Because look at
Corvette
how much
said,
faster your car is now than stock when you picked it
Yeah,
up.
I
And
know.
now at another 300 horsepower.
I know, and it is. It's not even 3. It's almost 4. It's almost 400
Right.
more
Yeah.
horsepower, which is insane.
Exactly.
But
And good air, it's going to be insane. I mean,
well, good
It'll
air.
be the
Especially
60
when
to
the-
130 King. I'm
Oh,
telling you.
100%.
That 60 to
That's
130
where
King-
that car is going to shine. It is not going
Yep.
to shine 0 to 60.
No.
the
And
car-
they've even said that. GM said it.
Yeah, GM actually said to some degree that it might be a hair slower than the Z06
Yep.
0 to 60, which is
Yep.
by itself kind of crazy. Now, if you're using this car as a top speed kind of run car or a drag strip car or even on some tracks, most tracks are not big enough that you're going to be able to stretch the legs of the ZR1 to even feel the
No.
difference. So if you're okay spending the extra premium, which is going to be, mark my words, it's going to be at least $100,000 more than the equivalent Z06 for that extra horsepower that you're never going to touch. And this is coming from a guy who has a channel called Horsepower Obsessed. And I'm telling you, you're not going to use it. There's no way you're going to use this power. It's unusable. Because, like I said,
certain tracks, the 06 is going to beat it for sure.
I mean, unless you have
tracks.
unless you have a track like the Nürburgring, even the Nürburgring is pushing it because the straights are not long enough to really feel the difference in that power. It might be a couple maybe a second or two faster, but at the end of the day, unless you have a really big track with a lot of really long straights, the ZR1 power is not going to be felt over the Z06, especially since GM even said that the Z06 is going to handle better by saying that the ZR1 rides softer. The Z06 is going to handle better because it's actually the track car, whereas the ZR1 is not really specifically track oriented.
Well, and I plan on using that, but like I haven't put everybody together on the same thing, but like we did our Brainerd rental, I'm going to rent an airstrip in North Georgia, and we're going to turn them loose. And boy, that would be fun to have. I like Brandon's car. I can't wait to see that thing all out for like a half mile straight. Like I can't wait to see that. But like, if I have a ZR1, I'm gonna go rent an airstrip. I don't care how long it is. I'll call military favors and I'll do whatever I got to do. I'm gonna turn that bad boy up and go.
That's it. We still don't know how it's going to handle the heat too on the track.
Yeah,
we still don't really know.
Based on what they've showed so far, that thing's going to handle its own on with heat, I think. But 10 seconds Z06 says my Z06 gets me in enough trouble as it is.
Yes, it does.
And Seawolf Z06 says he thinks it's going to be a challenge just to get reasonable insurance rates. It is. It's going to be.
It will.
For multiple reasons.
We've talked about that too. Because even I asked, remember? I told you I asked NCM, are they going to insure it? And they said, yeah. But it's going to be
right.
Yeah.
There's always a but on the end there. But
did you see like Haggerty? I don't know if this is true for like normal production cars, but if you have a car that's like 800 or 900 horsepower, they have a cutoff where if it's like a modded, say Hellcat, if you hit that number with mods, they won't insure you. Like Haggerty even now is somewhere around 900. Like if you have a highly modded high horsepower, so I don't know if Haggerty's going to even insure this thing. You know?
I don't know.
There's a lot of insurance companies out there that have already started to talk about the fact that they wouldn't insure this. And the thing is that a modded car that has 1,000 horsepower versus a stock car that has 1,000 horsepower, those are two completely different animals, because the stock car with 1,000 horsepower is going to have so much torque management, so many different nannies on it to make sure that you can't kill yourself. Whereas if you've modded the car yourself with, bigger turbos, tunes, whatever, you can turn off all that stuff. So it is way more dangerous to have a modded 1,000 horsepower car than it is a factory 1,000 horsepower. So I will give Chevy that, but your insurance rates are still going to suffer. There is no doubt in my mind your insurance rates are going to be
sky high.
NCM Insurance told me flat out the two most expensive cars they have right now to insure right now is the C8 Z06 and the C7 ZR1. Those are the two most expensive cars to insure, Corvettes. Yep. So that's only going to change with the C8 instead of the Z06. Now it's going to be the C8 ZR1.
Nah, and I've never been in a C7 ZR1. I've been in some high horsepower supercharged cars, but I can say for the amount of power the Z06 makes, it is really, really docile when you drive it. Like it's really hard to get it out of shape. You can, but man, did they make that car amazing.
Chevy is really good. You'll know this, David, but Dodge has a gigantic issue with making a car have any kind of actual traction control, especially if you're into the newer Viper. I think whatever it ended in 13 or 14. Those cars are scary. Like stock, you get into a car like that and you punch the gas, you're going to lose the rear end, and nothing is going to step in to save you. You're going to hit a telephone pole. Like that's just the way it works.
Yeah, and you went back to like the super horsepower modded cars, whatever. That's what my Challenger is. My Challenger makes almost 1,400 on kill, and the guy Eric who owns the shop and injected was like, "I'm just going to tell you, if you put your right foot down, the car goes sideways."
Yep.
He's like, "I'm just going to tell you, you need a wheel and tire," and even then, it's like when I first got it back and had it on kill, I told Brandon, I said, "This car is terrifying."
Yep.
I was like, it's absolutely terrifying.
And that's
but yeah, you're right.
That's where GM obviously, and that I honestly think that's one of the biggest things GM is still working on, is making that car drivable, because 1,000 horsepower is ridiculous for so many different reasons, but keeping it under control is the biggest challenge that they're going to face. I know it, because that's the same tire size and everything, and you can break the tires loose in the Z06.
Well, and Brandon had the drag radio, well, I don't know the drag race, but the Toyos on before we did the track day, and your street hits, I mean, it was predictable braking, you know what I mean? Like, but it was well mannered.
Yeah,
like it wasn't crazy out of control.
My C4, GM's been so good with these Corvettes anyway. My C4 with drag radials in the back, it would push the front tires when I try to do burnouts for street races.
Yeah,
and that's
my TRX does
these cars have always been great about that. I bet your C7, is it easy to get crazy with, or is it the nannies?
Yeah. If I go through a red light and punch the gas halfway through the turn, the rear end's kicking out. And I don't even have to hit the gas that hard. If I just use the big toe tap on the gas pedal, the rear end's going to go. And that's with brand new Sport Cup 2s.
Right.
But this is funny. Professor Corvette says a light on the dash appears at 175 miles per hour plus that says insurance policy deactivated.
Hey, you joke, but it's coming. Professor Corvette, you joke, but it's coming. They're already selling your
that actually is
information.
going to be a thing.
Where it's going to be a thing that every car is going to have it. You probably won't have to retrofit, but in the future, it's coming.
Tesla has where you can buy insurance from Tesla, and they will gauge your insurance price based on how you drive. And just from the car data itself. So that's going to be standard at some point in our lives.
No, thank you.
Yeah, Keith from C8 Rally Driver said, "Does Brandon just say he's street race, man?" Keith, we grew up street racing everything. It didn't matter.
They don't do it anymore, though, Keith. They've stopped. They've retired.
It's always in Mexico now.
Well, and it was like we had the crappiest setups back then. Like Brandon, you were joking in the one. Was it the live or was it your other video where you were saying you'd be hitting the button or your buddy be hitting the button in your Trans Am?
Yeah.
I was hitting the button for him.
So freaking dangerous,
man.
That's
what it was.
Going to the window.
It's so dangerous. These guys. Oh, all right. Yeah. Well, that was our rant for the ZR1. Corey, do you have any final closing thoughts here? I'm sorry we're talking ZR1 stuff. Actually, no. What is your opinion on the ZR1? Do you agree with everything we just said?
I'm trying to debate on how we answer this. So I am definitely one to think that the car itself is amazing. There's no discredit that anybody within the automotive world could give that. The car is a masterpiece, engineering amazing. I mean, GM just came out and slapped every single other manufacturer doing performance in the face. The issue that I have
Right.
Yeah, that's a bad issue. Okay, so it looks like we lost Corey for a second. Is he still in here?
I still got him.
All right, hold on. Something's good. There he is. Yeah. Start back with the issue that you have.
Okay. So my issue is that this car has brought a different level of clientele that the Corvette never has. That was in my training when I was working with General Motors, that they said you're going to have your Corvette Bob, who's your loyalist, Corvette Steve, which maybe thought he'd buy a Corvette, but now he would, and your Corvette of some foreign name that would never have bought a Corvette in their entire life, but now they would because of the price point for best bang for the buck. So while the Stingray Z06, and I wouldn't even say E-Ray at this point, I don't think it's attracted that level of buyer. The ZR1 is going to bring a such premium client that can just go out and stroke a check for 100 to 300 over because they don't give a crap. And that's where I have an issue where if I was General Motors, I would take note from like the Hummer EV or how Tesla does it or other manufacturers, and I would only for X amount of time, I would sell direct. So I would say, okay, Brandon, David, Justin, you guys want a ZR1. Well, now you have an application process. Have you ever owned a Corvette? Okay, cool, you did. Check. Did you drive your Corvette or did it sit in a garage in a bubble doing nothing? Okay, you drove it. Check. During COVID, did you flip one for profit? Yes or no? If you have owned one, you never flipped it and drove it, then I would say, okay, you've automatically been put in for your application. As an allocation comes up, we'll sell direct at MSRP, but there will be a contract like there is with Porsche and like Ford GT, where you do have to keep it within an X amount of period. In the event something happens, you have to sell it back to the manufacturer, the dealer. You just can't go out and put it on Bring Your Trailer for 200 grand over. So that's my opinion on the ZR1. I think it's going to be so sought after by everybody coming out of the woodworks and people that have the amount of capital to be able to just throw it at it, because why not? That I think it's going to upset the overall community by the true owners that deserve this car are not going to be able to obtain it, at least from day one.
Yeah.
That's a really good thought, Corey.
That's a really good point. One of the surgeons I work with in Orlando has 6 Ferraris, and not just like cheap Ferraris, like the big dog Ferraris. 6. He goes to the F1 stuff, gets free paddock passes, all the stuff. He actually was on the list way back on the list just for a Z06.
Wow.
On the ZR1, this dude's a cash buyer. This guy wants one because of what it brings to the table. Even at the premium price, it's still not an $800,000 Ferrari.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what you just said. The market is about to go.
Yep. Well, I mean, it kind of has to, because the price of this car, I'm still standing by the fact that I think this car is going to start at just about 200,000. So between 180 and 190, somewhere around there, that's where it's going to start before you add options. And if that is the case, then you are pushing into the guys out there that have what I like to call FU money, that they're just, 250, here it is, done. And those are the guys that are going to get the car first, because those are also the guys that can pay the $100,000 over MSRP charge that most dealers are going to demand at first for it too. Just like they did with the Z06, the same kind of thing.
Yep.
The guys who had the Z06 early were the guys who had deep pockets, and this car is not going to be any different as far as that's concerned. But a lot of the guys like myself who, I don't have deep pockets, but I really wanted the Z06. I knew the Z06 is always the best bang for the buck. I knew that was the car I wanted even before the C8 existed. So whenever I got that car, that's kind of my end game car. I knew that if the ZR1 came, it was going to be so expensive that I can't tell you for sure that I'll be able to get it. It's going to be expensive. So
yeah, Brandon and I approached it the same way. We got on the list. We put our deposit down. They announced it July 20th or 19th. That Friday morning, we put our deposit down for Criswell. And then we started talking, and we were like, hey, let's put it on a Z06 list if there's one, even before they'd announced it, really. And that's what we did, because same thing. It's the best bang for your buck in every generation, pretty much. Yeah, the big dog's the ZR1, but the bang for your buck, even like all of them. Well, let's not talk about the C7, but the C6, the C5, like all of them, like they're the best bang for your buck, man.
Yeah, honestly, even the C7 is. The C7 Z06 still is the best bang for your buck, because if you think about the price difference between the two, what did you gain? With the ZR1, you gained a bigger wing and an extra 100 horsepower for almost twice the price. Was it worth it? I mean, I can tell you as an owner of a C7 ZR1, if you're going for performance alone, no, it's not worth it. Yeah. I got a really good price on
the point where you can pick up a C7 Z06 now for like low 60s.
Yeah, and that's my
pretty
point.
Good. So
compare that to what
one to pass on.
Compare that to what you pay for a C7 ZR1 though. Like we'll say
now.
manual for manual, you'll pay
Manual
70,
for manual,
70 for the
It's
Z06,
3 times as much.
200 for the ZR1. It's not worth that difference in price. I'm telling you that as an owner of a ZR1, it's not worth it. Now, if you
and
just
that's really
want
good to hear from,
if you want the
owner.
clout to say, hey, I have a ZR1, yeah, sure, it's worth it. But that's it. The Z06 is always the best bang for the buck in every generation that exists with a Z06 and a ZR1. It's always the best bang. And the C8 Z06, it will be the same story. The C8 Z06 will go down in the 8th generation as the best bang for the buck because, yeah, you could go for that ZR1 and get 1,000 horsepower for 100 grand more. And then what?
And that's the beautiful thing about the Corvette anyway, just in the C7. If you have a C7 Z06, you can make it look identical to the C7 ZR1. You can throw a pulley and E85 tune and a few other little things, and then you've got the power. And so that's what makes it great is like, but you know, it's good and bad. It's bad if you have the C7 ZR1. It's great if you have a C7 Z06 because you can literally like clone the car. And there's no,
and honestly,
it's very easy and accessible.
You could do the same thing with the C8 ZR1. I mean, the C8 ZR1 already looks almost just like the C8 Z06 minus pretty much the hood.
Yeah.
And you can easily add the hood, and just like Steven did with his car over here, add the spoiler. Then all of a sudden, you literally can't tell if that's not a ZR1.
Yeah, that's a good point, Brandon. That's a really good point.
All right, so anyway, guys, that's our rant for the night, I guess. I want to give a big thank you to Corey for coming out tonight, telling us a little bit about Paragon Performance. Like I said, Paragon is the sponsor of the channel for the entire month of November. And once they release their Black Friday deals, we're going to be talking even more about them. But I wanted to have Paragon, or I'm just going to call him Paragon Corey from now on. So I wanted to have him on here because for the most part, you are Paragon Performance to most people, Corey. When they see you, when they talk to you, you're not Corey. You're the guy that runs Paragon. Even though whether it's true or not doesn't matter. You're the face of Paragon, and for most of us at least. So whenever I see you, I immediately think, number one, you're an awesome dude, but number two, he has all these new products. I can't wait to talk to him about what's coming, pick his brain, because it's always a good time talking to you guys about what's coming and all that good stuff. But I appreciate you coming out here, kind of schooling us on how you guys do stuff. You're obviously very customer service focused, which is great. Yeah. Bill Miller says PK. I'm gonna call you PK from now on.
PK. My name's Payne, so it works out. Just take it and reverse it. But no, thank you guys again. The opportunity that we as a company have had just by working with individuals, even outside of social media standpoint. I mean, we wouldn't be here without clients. But then the big portion is that the clients that we do have, we want to make sure that we have anything and everything that they could have. And I mean, you guys have seen it. If it's something we don't believe in or believe it is of good quality, or after the fact, if it's something that we found that we shouldn't have sold, I just cut it from the product line. We're not out there to kind of, nickel and dime everybody and try to say that everything's a good product, because it's not. We're out there to give knowledge, information, and just try to have a fun time. So while I do acknowledge a lot of people do recognize, me as far as Paragon, I wouldn't be here without the team.
Right.
I mean, Jeremy and Graham are the owners, Pat the engineer. I couldn't engineer stuff if you asked me to. Alex, our technician who does the install videos, I watch his install videos when I put stuff on these cars. So I mean, as a full team, it's definitely allowed us to grow well within the community. And now more so than not, people think Rob's the Paragon. And it's funny because at the first couple shows, because Rob wasn't really always on camera for a while, him and I would go to shows and they'd be running up to me and stuff. And one of the last shows we went to, they're running up to Rob and I just walk away and just smile and just love it. So it's really nice to be able to just be a part of the community as a whole.
Yep.
Yeah, and again, Corey, thanks on a personal level. Thanks for everything, man. Like, you are a true stand-up dude, guys. Everything we're saying is genuine, and we really do have a genuine affection for him because of the way he's reached out and been with us. So
yeah, and that's one of the biggest things. Is just like I was telling Corey earlier about whenever he sent the magnetic paddle shifters to me. I have at any given time I have a stack of parts sitting in my entry hall. My wife loves it, but they're sitting there waiting for me to review and put on the car. I can't tell you how many times I tear into a package. I get halfway through an install video, realize that what I'm putting on here is not a good product, put it back in the box and send it back. Because I'm not a guy who's going to tear somebody up on the internet over their parts, but at the same time, I am never going to be the guy who recommends a product to you guys that is not a good product. And I feel like on that level, Paragon and myself and David and Brandon, we all click on that same level because it's like, I'm not interested in selling junk. I'm not interested in pushing junk. It doesn't matter. I can't. I've been literally paid by companies to talk about their products and install them, that I've had to send the product back and refund them because I'm just not going to do it. I'm not going to push junk. And I have never been sent anything from Paragon Performance that I had to send back. I'll put it to you that way, because they don't sell
great
junk
advice. Exactly. That was great advice you gave me when I was just, you didn't know me. I was like, hey, can I take you to lunch and pick your brain? And you're like, sure. That was one of the big things you told me about that. And, you know, if you don't, shame on you, but you watching Brandon's videos, Brandon gives you the good, the bad, the ugly. Brandon's like, well, this probably could have been done better. This wasn't handled the way, or like Brandon just gives it to you raw. I mean, he's not bashing it.
I've also noticed though that Brandon, it seems like a lot of times you get a really oddly raw deal. Like, with your Corsair exhaust when it came in, it's like, how that doesn't happen to anybody, but of course it happened to Brandon. It's like, it's just strange.
You got 5 things to put in the box, you put 4 in.
Yeah,
so
right.
I don't know what to say.
But it's like that kind of stuff. I'll be honest with you, that kind of stuff doesn't ever happen to me. It's either I'm unboxing it and the product's
there was one time with some gaskets.
There was one time cost me like $65. There was one time.
Oh man. Well, you know what's funny is that particular part, those cats came from Street Speed, and I was assured everything was in it because I sent them back to Soul Performance, and they updated them and then sent them back to me. And I bought a secondary install kit because I didn't know what Street Speed had used and what he didn't use. So I just asked for a secondary install kit. Right. I just assumed that everything was included in that, and apparently it wasn't. So thankfully,
we found out when your car was tore apart.
Yeah,
it wasn't.
Well, thankfully, Paragon Performance, Corey, PK, he was there.
Yeah,
you guys were there. We got it handled, and obviously, Corey helped out with that situation quite a bit. And this is the kind of guy he is, and even. He came out to my place, helped me out with lowering the car, helped me out with a bunch of parts on the car. It was just, if you guys are ever on the fence about using Paragon Performance for something, don't do it. They absolutely will kill it every time for you. But
George is nice this time of year.
George is very nice. I might be there in a week, so I'll let you know.
Please do.
No, that was something. I mean, David, you reached out to me months ago at this point when you had your intake manifolds that were, kind of something you and Brandon were working on, and you're like, hey, I want to talk to you, sign NDA, this, that, and the other. And I was like, hey, this is what you should do. This is what you should do as a release. You get more money from it from day one. Here's some advice from A, B, and C. I can come in and do stuff for you, but I think there's better opportunities.
That was something
there.
I regret not thinking about and saying that, because that was probably the biggest thing to let you guys know what kind of a person Corey is. When we were going to launch these intakes, I was literally like, hey, advice. How would you do it if it was your product? He doesn't owe me anything. He's not going to, we're going to be working together here in the future.
Moving forward,
but he didn't owe me anything. It's not even his product. And he's like, if it was me releasing my product, this is how I would do it. That's just the kind of guy that Corey is. Not take him out of the Paragon picture. He doesn't have to help me. Now, ultimately, it'll help us all. But that's exactly the conversation we had, was if I was going to do this, if it was my product, David, this is how I would do it.
I'll tell you what, Corey, the more we do these kind of things, the more I know. Whenever you came out and helped me with my Z06, I spoke to Jeremy about, how much I appreciated your assistance and how valuable you are to the team. It's going to get to the point where you're going to be due a raise. you're going to be getting a couple raises here, because we're doing nothing but praising you. And it's like I said, as far as the average Joe is concerned, you are Paragon. It doesn't matter if you are or not. They're seeing you on the videos. They're seeing you on this and you on that. Yeah. So we're in your corner, man. We're going to get you some pay raises.
Well, I appreciate it. And at the end of the day, again, I can't make everybody happy. I just can't. And I do get the very few people, Google reviews can just absolutely make or destroy a company from somebody coming in and doesn't realize it. And you'd be shocked. There's actually more negative reviews about me on Google than there are good.
That's
It's kind of
crazy.
the old saying that if you have a bad service experience, you're going to tell 100 people.
Right.
If you have a good service experience, you might tell your wife.
Right.
So it's kind of funny when I do get some people that come to us and say, hey, we saw a couple negative Google reviews and Corey's name's mentioned. It's like at one time, I was the only one that was taking phone calls, emailing, shipping packages, and was also assisting working on cars. So there was nobody else to talk to besides me. Since then, I have stepped back from that role. I've hired a couple of service individuals that are assisting with that. But it's just kind of funny the amount of people that do say, well, I saw a negative review, but you seem like a decent dude. I'm like, I'm just here.
Yeah.
Well, I'm
like
glad we can give those people though the personal accounts of what kind of person you actually are.
Right.
Like the reviews are the reviews, but guys, we are no BS people. You know this. We don't sugarcoat anything, and we're giving you our personal reviews on how Corey has impacted everything we do.
Yeah, I feel like if you happen to, have those phone calls recorded, I would love to hear this because something tells me I already know the answer to this, but these people are definitely overreacting. But I would like to hear what went down to make them leave a bad review for you.
Oh man, so I'm thinking about doing
I know which one you're thinking about.
You haven't even heard them all, but I'm thinking about doing a Paragon podcast and having it be like something we record during hours and post after, and it being more of like Paragon Raw. So like all the stuff behind the scenes, the bull crap, the manufacturer issues, some of the client issues, leaving their names out, obviously for privacy and confidentiality.
Right.
But just kind of the behind the scenes. And I'm seeing if I still have this voicemail. But I had a voicemail from a guy that told me to shove a screwdriver up my rear end.
Love this. Well, whatever you were dealing with at the track at our rental day that day with the one that was like after hours weekend, like all of this stuff, like I'm like, oh man, Corey, like
yeah, the guy blasted us on Reddit, didn't even give me an opportunity to fix it. So no, the guy that told me to shove a screwdriver up my back end was a technician that installed our Paragon Performance grill guards on a Stingray. And I was on the phone, call went to voicemail, listen to my voicemail, and he's talking about how dog shit our product is, how cheap it is, how terrible the quality is, how terrible the install process is. I'm like, what the heck is going on? And my assumption after listening to his voicemail, having him tell me how bad of a Chinese cheap company we are in hopes that the company burns and like all this stuff, right? So I figure out who he is, try calling him, he doesn't answer. Try calling the shop. They said that he was fired. Caught a hold of an old employer and explained what was going on. And what had happened was the tech was installing the grill guards, and it was on a client's brand new Stingray, and he wasn't careful when installing them, and his knuckles were brushing against the condenser, so it was bending the fins up. So the client made the shop buy them new condensers. So the customer, the tech, called me telling me to shove a screwdriver up my butt because he wasn't careful during the install.
At the end of it was like, watch my YouTube channel at Brandon's Garage.
Yeah.
I know. I keep thinking, I'm like, I'm gonna use that one. I really like that one. I'm definitely
exactly. I can see you doing
that. Oh man, I hope someday that I can make a product and send it to Brandon and have him install it. I'm purposely going to leave at least two items out of it.
At least. At least.
Yeah. So like I've had that. I've had a guy in Florida tried stealing from us. I got him arrested. That was a fun one.
Ooh, nice.
Wow.
Yeah. So like there's little stories like that I'm like, they're good stories. Why not talk about them?
Right.
You need a TV show on Netflix for real, Corey. Like the shop Paragon Hall needs a TV show on Netflix.
That's why I'm like, we could try the podcast and whatnot. And I was like, between the guy that got arrested, the guy that I was down in Florida, another guy. Florida's a really bad state to ship to.
Florida man.
Oh man, they steal all the time.
There's a lot of partying and stuff going on in Florida. I think people in Florida are kind of crazy. That's just my opinion.
So had a guy try stealing something from us, and then when I was down there working on another content creator's car, we drove by his house, found him sitting outside looking at his car with the product installed.
Wow!
So that was fun. I had one in Texas, same thing. Guy tried stealing it, had somebody down there go and found it in the parking garage. So sent the customer photos of his car saying this you. So I mean, we've got a lot of
when you say
a lot of things.
They're stealing it, what do you mean? Like they're buying it and then trying to get a refund or something?
buying it and doing a credit card for dispute.
Oh, dispute. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah,
I love
saying
that.
I didn't get it or product wasn't as advertised, stuff like that.
So C8 Nate over here saying that he just realized that Corey has quote unquote the most interesting man in the world meme haircut, and has since sent me a picture of what he
Oh
thinks.
my God.
So
Oh, geez,
get prepared for this. There he is, the most interesting man in the world with Corey's face. I kind of get it. I kind of get it.
Oh God.
I've never had a Dos Equis, but now I might.
You have to now.
Thanks.
Well, thank
that,
you
Nate.
for everything, Corey. It is appreciated on all sides,
No
man.
problem.
Yeah. Again, Corey, you're awesome. Paragon's awesome. You guys are doing a great job of making sure your customers are happy. You know the situation between us and you were able to step in and rectify that immediately. And the way that you did it could not have been more professional. And honestly, I've got nothing but good things to say about you and Paragon. So if it ever comes down to the fact someone asking me, hey, should I do business with Paragon? It's never going to be a no for me, dog. So we're good. You guys are awesome.
Thank you, guys.
As long as if you guys ever want on the channel, if you ever need anything from me or Brandon and David, I'm sure they'd agree. We're here.
Absolutely.
We're here for you because you've been there for us. So
absolutely. And George is nice. Come on down, brother.
Well, again, I do take delivery of my eray December 6th. It's a Friday. Try doing a Saturday, but they're just so booked up, and then it's Christmas. So take delivery of the Corvette December 6th. We're going to do an autocross event at the track. And then I'm thinking I'll either stay in Bowling Green for the night or go to Nashville and just hang out with whoever's there, and it'll be a good time.
Love it, man.
Very cool. All right. Well, Corey, thank you again for tuning in, coming on the show here, answering some questions. Obviously, guys, the giveaway is still going. I don't think we got any more entries after that. We did not. So giveaway will be ending in 2 weeks from today. But for now, we're going to wrap this one up. We've taken enough of Corey's time. So thank you, Corey. Thank all of you guys for tuning in. The giveaway's still going, but thank you all for your support. And we'll see you guys same time, same place next Monday night.
See y'all later.